Hey everyone, welcome back to yet another Euphoria Academia YouTube video where we do past papers. Today we're going to be doing the IEB past paper 1 from November 2023. Alright, without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, we're told to start with question 1. Number A, number 1. Alright, so I'm just gonna write number 1 like that because this numbering convention is a bit confusing. But we have 2 is equal to 3 to the power of x, and we're told to leave the answer in logarithm form. So whenever we have exponents, and I guess in the question also alluded to it, and you want to get what the value of x is, you just use your log rules. And how you do that, you're just going to apply your log to this side, and then you're going to end up with x being equal to log of base 3, 2. Alright, for number 2, we have the square root of x plus 7 minus 1 being equal to x. Now, whenever we're told to solve for x and there's a square root involved, we should always remember that your final answer, so whatever you get that x should be, you should check it always, because it might not be valid because square roots act or make the equation a bit funny. Alright, without further ado, my objective here to solve this is to eliminate the square root. Alright, so how do we do that? Well, we should start by isolating the square root. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to take the minus 1 to the right hand side, so we're going to add 1, and then eliminating the square root, which is going to square both sides. I'm going to be left with x plus 7 being equal to x plus 1 squared, and when you square x plus 1, you end up with x squared plus 2x plus 1. Alright, so continuing, in order to factorize, I think we should write everything in standard form. So let's just take everything from the left hand side to the right hand side. Alright, so that will leave us with 0 here, and okay, we still have x squared on the right hand side. That's going to be a minus x, so we're going to take away an x, we're going to be left with plus x, and then we're going to minus 7. That means on the right hand side we're going to be left with a minus 6. Alright, now factorizing that, we know that we need factors of minus 6, and these factors of minus 6 will need to, when added together, they're going to produce a plus 1. So we have to ask ourselves, what are these factors? And both of these factors, well, not both, one has to be negative and the other one has to be positive. Well, in this case, the bigger one will be positive. So what numbers can you add? One being positive, one being negative, that will give us a plus 1. Well, you can see that the factors of 6 that give us, or minus 6 that give us that, is actually going to be negative 2 and 3. Alright, so let's quickly factorize. So we're going to end up with 0 being equal to x minus 2 and multiply to x plus 3, which will lead us to say that x is equal to minus 3 or x is equal to 2. Alright, now like I said in the beginning, we need to check if our solutions are valid. Alright, so let's start off with -3. Alright, this is just me checking. Alright, I'll just check on the bottom here. So if x is equal to -3, let's just substitute that into our square root. We're going to be left with that, and that should equal -3 in this case. Alright, let's just see what it equals. So that's going to be 7 minus 3. That's going to give us the square root of 4 minus 1. That is going to be 2 minus 1, which is equal to 1, which is not going to be equal to 3. 2 minus 3, sorry. So in this case, x cannot be equal to -3. Now, for argument's sake, let's just check for 2. Alright, so the left hand side should be equal to 2, so that's going to be 2 plus 7 minus 1, and that is going to give us 9, 3. That's going to be 3 minus 1, 2. So that one is more valid. Alright, next one we have number B, where it's a simultaneous equation or simultaneous equations. So let's write them out. The first one is going to be the following: y minus 2x is equal to 7. And then the second one is x squared minus x minus y minus 3 is equal to 0. And that will be equation 2. Now, we need to write these equations, well, rewrite them, making either y or x the subject of the formula. Now, for me, the easiest one to do is the first equation. So I'm going to do that. So from equation 1, we're going to have that y is equal to 7 plus 2x, right? Or 2x plus 7, doesn't matter. Now, that will be equation 3. So let's substitute equation 3 into equation 2. Alright, so we're going to have x squared minus x minus, what is y? 7 plus 2x minus 3 being equal to 0. Alright, now let's do some algebra. We're going to end up with x squared minus 3x and minus 10 being equal to 0. Alright, cool. Now, factorizing this, we need to find factors of minus 10 where one is positive and the other one is negative. And when you add them together, we're going to get a result of minus 3. Alright, so the bigger one has to be negative because that answer is negative. And we will see that what gets us that is actually a minus 5 and a 2. Alright, because 2 minus 5 is minus 3. Alright, so let's quickly factorize that. I'm going to end up with x minus 5 multiplied to x plus 2 being equal to 0. Alright, now we're going to have that x is going to be equal to 5, or x is equal to minus 2. Now, substituting these two results into our equation 3, we're going to find that y, I'm just going to divide that to make things clearer to see which one I'm substituting in. Alright, y will be equal to 7 plus 2, which x are we substituting? Let's start with the 5. Alright, and that is going to give us 17. Alright, or y is equal to 7 plus 2, substitute the 2 from, sorry, that should be a minus 2, and that will be equal to didn't even register. That will be equal to 3, because that's going to be 2 times -2, -47 minus 4, that's a 3. So our answers are actually going to be, for this one, 5 and 17, or they're going to be -2 and a 3. Alright, so for number C, we actually have an inequality. Alright, and for inequalities, think of them as solving for x. It's just that when you get to the latter stages, you're supposed to be thinking of them in terms of greater than, smaller than, equal than. Right? But the critical thing here is to find the critical values, no pun intended. Alright, so let's start off with 3x squared being smaller or greater than x. Alright, now to factorize this, we need to write it in standard form. And how do we write it in standard form? We're just going to take the x from the right hand side to the left hand side. We're going to be left with 3x squared minus x being smaller or equal to 0. Alright, now factorizing that, let's take out a common x. I'm going to be left with 3x minus 1, and that should be that. So our CV's critical values, we have it as x being equal to 0 and 3x minus 1 being equal to 0. Alright, so let's just make x the subject of the formula. We're going to have x equaling 1/3. Alright, so what does this all mean? Well, it essentially means that our x value is actually in between, alright, well, it's either 0 or it's in between 1/3, and it can also equal 1/3. And that is how you solve the inequality.